Okay, there we are. Thank you, folks, for joining us for our Honors College Colloquium. Very excited to be joined today by one of our Honors College students, Rayleigh Derrick. You see her there. Thank you, Jada. And Rayleigh is going to be speaking to us today about her ongoing participation in the Public Policy Scholars Program, which is something that the Texas A&M University system offers to excellent students throughout the system. And Rayleigh was chosen for the program, so she's currently interning in Washington, D.C. with the Association of Wheat Growers.
Yes.
So we have a PowerPoint. She's going to kind of talk through it. Then we'll have some time for questions. I know some of my faculty colleagues have to dive a bit early to go to a college meeting, and this will be recorded, obviously, for folks who miss it. So, with no further ado, I will turn it over to Rayleigh, and just let me know when you want me to move to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, hi everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to me talk about this. The Public Policy Scholars Program is a fall and a spring program. There's no summer program yet, but you are with a cohort of about 10 people. And yeah, this is my cohort right here. We're from six different system schools, ranging from Corpus Christi to Kingsville to West Texas A&M. And now Texarkana is on that list. So you can go to the next slide. Okay, so the basics, you will spend out of the 5 business days out of the week, you'll spend 3 days in office and 2 days in class. The different offices that you can apply to, you can work for congressional offices, think tanks, lobbying firms, educational centers like the War College, the White House, etc. And then you'll have 2 days in class, and classes will be held in person on the Bush School of Government and Public Service in Washington, D.C. campus. It is a satellite campus of Texas A&M College Station Bush School. So it's on the same schedule and everything. It's just in DC. So there's 2 classes that you'll take in person, and you have one class online that is proctored through from Stephanie Webb, who is the president of the program much. So the 2 classes that you'll take in person is contemporary issues in American foreign policy and contemporary political problems and issues. So one is based in foreign policy and one is based in domestic policy. And both of the classes are taught by retired service officer Dr. Annalise Reinamera. She did 20 years in the Foreign Service, and she is an excellent professor. We've done different type of immersive experiences. We've gone to the Freer Art Gallery to talk about soft power and how we've gone to the Kennedy Center to talk about his impact on the arts. And she's just an excellent. And if you would like to read any of her stuff, she's on Substack and she writes some about her experiences living in South Korea and Jerusalem. So yeah, you can go to the next slide. So the specifics of the courses. So each course is worth 3 credit hours, and each class has their own project. So for the contemporary issues in American foreign policy, my cohort is the last of a 3 semester long project about what the world will look like by the year 2100. And we're doing that by the ends, ways, means model. And my cohort is responsible for coming up with the ways. So we're responsible for coming up with how we are going to achieve the goal set by our previous cohort. And yeah, and in contemporary political problem issues, each cohort will study a different topic. So last cohort did immigration reform. The cohort previously before them, did healthcare policy. And my cohort is doing data center regulation and mitigation. We are coming up with a policy recommendation about data centers, and we've held stakeholder interviews with people from all across the industry, I guess you could say, everywhere from local government to corporate stakeholders. And Dr. Reinamira helps facilitate some of that. And yeah, it's really good. It's very interactive, all of the courses. You'll have group work and then you'll also have some individual work. So it's really great. If you like to work with other people, it's very much collaboration. You work a lot with your peers, and it's a great way to just learn how to work with different types of people, people with different political affiliations. You're all together coming up with having a shared goal, and it's just it's a really great way to learn how to work with other people. So yeah, you can go to the next slide. So where will you work? The public policy internship program, the public policy scholars program, and ANRP are all facilitated through a woman in at the Bush School, DC, called Chelsea. She helps facilitate between different offices. So she'll help send out emails to congressional offices, to lobbying groups, with students' resumes, cover letters, and she kind of helps advocate for the students' behalf. And that's one of the things that the program will help is they will help put you in an office that you want to be in, that fits with your political views, that fits with the things that you want to learn. They want everybody to have the best experience possible whenever it comes to the offices that you work in. And just a couple of examples of the types of offices that you can work in. You can work in congressional offices. So, for example, you can work on the Hill for House representatives like Nathaniel Moran and Jasmine Crockett, or you can work in the Senate for senators like Ted Cruz. You can work for Texas. It's very encouraged to work for Texas representatives, but obviously we have some that are represent like in offices like Missouri. So it's not specific to Texas, but of course it's encouraged. Lobbying groups, the National Association of Wheat Growers, that's what I'm with. And it's a great way to really get into the nuts and bolts of government. And it's really awesome to just learn about. Not all lobbying groups are bad. So it's a really great way to learn about government and how policy happens while not working on the Hill. And it gives you a lot, at least for me in my office, I have a lot of freedom. If I wanted to go to a reception, I could go to a reception. If I wanted to go to a hearing or a markup, I could go to that. So yeah, and it's really, really good if you like to have that freedom. And then educational centers, so things like the War College and American Center for Diplomatic Studies and Training. The War College accepts people from like military backgrounds. And so they really like to have people who have served in the military. And we have one of our cohorts who is working at the War College who did serve in the military. And that's a really awesome place to work if you have like military experience at all. And then Senate and House committees, you can work for committees like Oversight, Commerce, Arms and Defense, Agriculture, Judiciary. Um, and those are really awesome if you have a specialized field that you would like to go into. So if you wanted to go to law school, you could intern on the Judiciary Committee, or if you wanted to go into ag policy, then you can intern at the Agriculture Committee. So yeah, and then think tanks and legal firms. There are different types of legal firms in DC that advocate on people's behalf. And there are several interns in my cohort that work for legal and law firms on the Hill. So yeah, you can go to the next slide. So who will you live with and who will you be around? The Public Policy Scholars Program is made up from about 9 to 14 students. It's growing. People are continuing to apply to it, so that number might go up in the future. So the more cohorts in that program, the better. It's awesome. That's the program that I am in, and that is the program that Texas A&M Texarkana students will be in. And that is the program where you will work in an office and you will attend classes in person. And these are the folks that who you'll be going to class with, who you might share an apartment with, and you might even work in the same office as them. Two of my roommates work in the same office and live together. So that is a possibility of something that can happen. The public policy internship program, this is just for College Station students. It's made up of about 10 to 13 students. You will be living with them and possibly working with them. And then the agriculture and natural resource program. This is also a program that is exclusive to College Station students, and they do a lot of ag policy. So a lot of them are with House members who are sit on the House Agriculture Committee, or they work for the Fertilizer Institute. They work specifically in agricultural offices. And the public policy internship program, they work in a variety of offices. They can work in a think tank, they can work in a congressional office, and then the same goes for public policy scholars program. There's not a specific offices that you have to go to, and they let you apply to whatever office that you would like to. So you can go to the next slide. So, where will you live while being in DC? So, you will have a shared condo with a maximum of six other people. So, they have it split in by three rooms. So, you'll have an opportunity to share a room with just one person, or you'll have an opportunity to share with two people. I live in an apartment with all girls, so it's an all-girl apartment. We have one co-ed apartment. There is a possibility for a co-ed living arrangement, but you never have to like share a room with somebody of the opposite gender, whatever. So that's really good. And whenever you apply to the program, they ask for your preferences, who you do and don't want to live with. And this makes it really good for whenever you're here. Like in my apartment, we all kind of like to mind our own business and get together like once a week and talk and gab. And then some other apartments like to hang out every single day, and they try to match up those personalities just so everybody gets along and it's a good experience for everyone. So it's in Crystal City, Virginia. It's right across the Potomac River. You will take the metro to get everywhere. There are a few students who have cars, but I will tell you, driving in DC is a horrible experience. Just the few times that I've taken lifts around the city, the drivers are much different than Texas drivers. The traffic is different. Yeah, I highly recommend leaving your vehicle in Texarkana and using the metro. I love the metro. I've put a little picture of the metro, the DC metro map here. And as you can see, there's a few different lines that you can go on, but I promise after like a month, you'll get it. Once you figure out your routes on how to get to work or how to get to the Bush School, it gets so much easier and it's just like second nature. My first month here, I had a really hard time not understanding the directions that they were going in. But after getting on the wrong train enough, I figured it out. So I think that that's a good experience for everybody. You just got to figure it out. And so yeah, you're in a tri-jurisdiction area. It's Virginia, DC, and Maryland. So that's just something to think about whenever you're traveling around the city. So we live in Virginia, and the area that we live in is awesome. The condos that we have are awesome. I'm currently in the business center that the condos offer. So there's a pool, there's pool tables. Each condo or each apartment will have its own washer and dryer. So you don't have to worry about like doing laundry in the basement if you don't want to. So yeah, they provide lots of amenities, and Crystal City, uh, Crystal Plaza, the apartments are connected underground to the metro through tunnels. So if it's snowing outside and the weather's bad and you don't want to go outside and get cold, you can take those tunnels and get from point A to point B. If you want to go to the metro, you can go underground and don't even have to, you can be a little mole rat if you wanted to. So yeah. Yeah, and you can go to the next slide. So just a personal account, I think that applying is a great idea. I was super hesitant to apply just because the application process, it can be a bit overwhelming, but I promise once you get it done, you'll be like, oh, that wasn't that bad. You go through a round of interviews with the program staff, and then you'll submit a policy essay. You can write on really anything. You can write on healthcare to, I did mine over the Peace Corps and the importance of USAID. And they appreciate really any type of policy essay as long as it's in a specialized area. And it has to be in depth. So you have to do history and just really go into it. And it's a really good way for the program to see like your writing skills. It's a good way for Dr. Reinemera to see where you're at in writing skills and stuff like that. So, and then you have a letter of recommendation from somebody from the school. So I was lucky enough to have Miss Tracy Rush write a letter of recommendation for me. And so, yeah. And then the interviews, you'll go through two rounds of interviews technically. So the one with the program staff and then one with a different office. So I went through my interview with program staff, and then I went through two different interviews, one with ADST and one with the NOG, the National Association of Wheat Growers. Um, so yeah, and also if you're a real history buff, if you love museums, DC is the place. I try to go to a different museum every weekend, and it's lovely. I included a picture of the White House right here in the middle. That is at a White House press briefing that I went to. That was really cool for the National Association of Wheat Growers. We talked with different members of the administration and kind of got to advocate for on farmers' behalf. So that was really awesome. And then the Farm Bill markup I got to go to and stay until 12 o'clock at night and cover and take notes, which was awesome. It was an amazing learning experience. I would do it all over again. It was so great. And then the Kennedy Center, we got to go there. And then the Capitol, the program will provide basketball tickets for the entire cohort. So that'll be a good way for you to kind of network among the different PPIP and ANRP. So yeah, and of course the Washington Monument, whenever we had our snowstorm, it was lovely. The snowstorm was awful, but all of the buildings looked beautiful. And yeah, I personally think that there are so many Texarkana students that would do so good in the program. Um, Southern hospitality and like it's people love it up here. I like the more polite and they like it really makes a difference. And also there's a lot of Aggies on the hill, so you're always like two people away from somebody who went to school in Texas, especially with that the ANRP and those folks, they are constantly around Aggies. So yeah, it's a great program. Applications are open for the spring. So if you would like to go to DC for the spring semester in 27, I would suggest going ahead and starting to think about your policy essay, start thinking about your letter of recommendation, because the more time that you have, the better, and the more in depth that you can go in on that stuff, the better. Yeah, it's awesome. I highly suggest applying. We s- the program always puts Eagles impact policy on everything. So, and it's true. It's important to have representation from areas like Texarkana on the Hill. And yeah, so you can go to the next slide. So if anybody has any questions, now y'all can ask or type them in the chat, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Rayleigh. Fantastic. Sales. No, awesome. Well done. I'll give you my very golf clappy applause since we're on Zoom. Fabulous. And yes, I have her contact info as well. Thank you, Jane. That's very helpful. Any questions from the group? I was just going to point out one thing to mention is that the living arrangements are actually covered by the system. So
Yes.
you're not paying to live in Washington, D.C. I mean,
No.
you're paying your incidentals and
Mhm.
other stuff, but the actual accommodations covered by the A&M system,
Yes.
which is
Yes, that's very important. That's very important. Yes, all of the housing is completely covered by the system, which is really nice.
Yeah.
DC is incredibly expensive. So it's very, very nice to have that. Yeah. And especially all the amenities that come with it. It's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not wrong about the Metro.
Yes.
As Dr.
I
Bew and I
love the
were talking
Metro.
about earlier as well. The Metro is great.
Yes.
Yeah, Washington, D.C. is fantastic. Anyhow, sorry. Any questions from the, here we go. Jada asks, how different are prices such as groceries and gas? Yeah.
Um, so the prices, gas, I don't drive here, so I really don't know. I know that right now they're like around 4.60 a gallon here. So that's a lot more expensive. Groceries are also a bit more expensive. But if you're smart, then it's not that bad. I personally do grocery delivery from Aldi or I'll go to Trader Joe's. But places like Costco and Sam's and stuff like that are really not very cost effective for an area like this. But yeah, groceries are a little bit more expensive. That's definitely something to think about. But yeah.
Yeah, I've always cultivated cheapness in my groceries. I think I don't think my kids ever get anything that's name brand. Whoa, hey, what are you? We're not the Rockefellers here. Calm down. But that's a good question. Yeah, everything's is going to be a little bit more expensive in
Yeah.
DC. Any other questions? Anything else? One other thing I will point out while you all are thinking about it, Rayleigh's a political science major, which is great. I loved doing political science. You don't have to be a political science major to do this program. In some ways, there's a natural alignment because of the policy and everything else you're learning and so forth. But you can come from other majors as well, if those of you who are listening. You could be an engineer or nursing or English or what have you.
I'm sorry, push your feet down. Down. Yes.
What was that?
Like, oh, this really squeezing in the middle, y'all. Oh, yeah. Oh, perfect.
I'm not sure if that's a question from Ava or not. She might be speaking to someone in her room. Um, if you do have a question, Ava, you just let us know, and we are happy to go ahead and have you ask. Any other questions or anything? For my faculty colleagues who have to go to a college meeting after this, sorry.
Rayleigh, who are some of the famous people you've met?
Yeah, I've met thus far I've met different well, my favorite person that I've met so far has been Sarah McBride.
Hmm.
She's a representative out of Delaware that I met during the Farm Bill markup.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved meeting her. I also got to meet oh gosh, he's the chair of the House Ag Committee. His name is slipping my mind right now. But that was really cool. And then I got to meet Angie Craig. She is a rep from Minneapolis, or not Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I loved meeting her. She's also on the House Ag Committee. Um, yeah.
And you
And
mentioned
then Chancellor Hager. I don't know if he's
oh
famous,
yeah,
but I got to meet Chancellor Hager. So that was really cool.
Chancellor of the A&M system, for those of you.
Chancellor of the A&M system, yes.
And you mentioned, oh, Steffi, you mentioned that the National Association of Wheat Growers had reached out to you as a potential intern. So can you just talk a little bit about the process of finding the internship? Because I know that the system helps, but it's also up to the student to kind of.
Yes. So they each semester they will send out a different sheet that has all of the offices available, and whether what their offices are, whether they're a Democratic or Republican office. They also put out whether they pay, and then they attach like obviously a link to where you can submit your cover letter, resume, and most places, at least on the Hill, really like policy essays. So if you have a policy essay, they most of the time really want to read about that because that will determine whether or not you align with their office. But sometimes you apply to them, and then other times, what's really great about the program is they will send out your cover letter and resume to offices. So I was really lucky to have National Association of Wheat Growers reach out to me. And so that's how I got my interview with them, and that's why I'm with them now. But yeah, so the program will kind of act as a liaison between those offices. So that's a really, really helpful thing because if you had to apply to every single of those offices, you'd be applying and submitting different policy essays all the time, and that's very time consuming. So yeah.
Very cool. Thank you. Any last questions? Okay. In that case, if you do have questions for Rayleigh, she did put her contact info up. You can also reach out to me, and I'm sure I can pass it along as needed. Oh, there's Ava, but we're about to go, but I'll let you back in. So yes, thank you again, Rayleigh, for taking some time. We should have pointed out Rayleigh's in Washington, D.C. right now. Just
Yes.
pointed out, hence why we're doing this over Zoom as well. So we're thrilled that you're able to join us, and that you're killing it up there in a good way. And that it is such a meaningful experience for you. So thank you. Take to heart what she said. If you are interested in looking into this program, either for the spring or for future years, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to, get that process started. Or you can reach out to pretty much anybody, and it'll eventually come back to me, I suppose. Or you can even reach out directly to the system office as well. We did have the director and assistant director on campus last fall talking about Stephanie Webb, and her associates. They came up and presented on it. I'll see if they want to come back next fall. I don't know that I can top the fact that I took them out with the symphony leaders because it happened to align that night. So we wined and dined them. Well, dined them mostly. But anyhow, I'll see if I can get them to come back to Texarkana.
Yes.
But all right, well, thank you, Rayleigh. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you.
And,
Thank you. And they love Texarkana, by the way. That's what
they
they
did.
said, that Texarkana is their favorite system campus that they've been to. So it was good.
For the purposes of the tape, I'm sure they say the same to
Oh,
everybody.
sure. I don't know. They said it in a Zoom meeting, so it was in public forum.
Huzzah. All right. Thank you, Rayleigh. And
Thank you.
thank you, folks, for joining us. Yeah, have a good Friday.